Yo, finally, dude. Holy shit. DICE and EA just came out with another official update for Battlefield Labs. And if you look on screen right now, this is technically the second official footage of gameplay we have ever seen for Battlefield 6. As you see in the video, there is a lot of building, destruction, and a new running animation confirmed by David Sirlin, the lead producer. The whole community update is focused on their design philosophy for destruction with Battlefield 6, what they plan on testing in future playtests, and what they learned from previous Battlefield Labs playtests. We're going to go through it all. I'm going to show you guys screenshots of the posts throughout the video and kind of summarize each point, so don't go anywhere. But if you do want to read it on your own, I'm going to put a link in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. But that's enough talk. Let's get right into the video. Really quick though, if you are enjoying the content around here, make sure to hit that like button. It does truly help me out a lot. And subscribe if you are excited for the new game. I only play Battlefield around here, so if you're a Battlefield fan, that sounds cool to you, definitely stick around for more videos. So the first section of this community update talks about their design philosophy for destruction, and some of the major points I took from this section is they are putting a huge emphasis on making sure destruction is not only easily understandable, meaning you'll be able to identify what's destructible and what's not, I'm guessing, but also they are making destruction strategically and tactically useful, which is good. It means they're thinking this thing through, right? It's not just destruction for the sake of looking cool. They're talking about reshaping the battlefield to be able to create like new paths, taking down buildings to take out an attacking squad, and creating new cover. Next section is called Destruction and Gameplay, and this is probably the most interesting part of this community update to me because they really start to detail how the destruction system will work in the new game. And to me, this sounds like the most detailed destruction we have ever seen in a Battlefield game. For example, let's talk about walls. Apparently, once a wall takes enough damage from an explosion like a grenade, smaller impacts like bullets will also contribute to its destruction, which means it would allow you to shoot your way through the wall like Rainbow Six style, which that sounds fucking dope, man. I'm really curious to see how that's going to work in the game. And also they mentioned that there will be visual and audio cues that will help you know if your attacks are successful, which I'm guessing means they will let you know if your bullets are doing any damage to the wall, because I don't think they're simply referencing hit markers here, right? Like maybe both, I don't know. It's very interesting, but also it's really hard to tell exactly what this means or how it will look or sound without playing it. Different surface types now also visually degrade before breaking down, and they mention buildings Apple core as they start to break down, which I'm not a developer, right? But this alone points to the fact that this destruction system is 100% the most detailed destruction we've ever had, at least since Bad Company 2. Because what this is pretty much saying is that there are layers to the destruction for these buildings. So as you inflict more damage to the exterior of a certain building, like the outer walls, you'll start to expose the core of the building. And then once you destroy the core of the building, the entire building itself will collapse. So these buildings aren't just like completely made out of paper, you know? Like if you want to take down a building, you really gotta like fuck this thing up. And again, if you played Bad Company 2, it was very similar. I don't know if they necessarily had a quote unquote building core mechanic like the new game has, but you would have to destroy in Bad Company 2 like the four corners of the building in order to completely collapse the building. And it just added like that much more, I don't know how to say it, like thought, right? Like that went into how you use destruction to your advantage. They also talk about new destruction related opportunities during gameplay. For example, rubble caused by destruction now remains on the map, and you're able to use it to create cover and protection, which is awesome. We needed this because, for example, let's say you're holding down a flag and you have two alleyways in front of you and one behind you. You could allegedly blow out the side of the building on the alleyway behind you to block off enemy access, or at least just give you some additional cover. I am curious though if it will be that intense, because that could theoretically lead to destruction, like breaking the maps if they aren't careful, because you could just completely block off parts of the map. Again, this is all pre-alpha. I guarantee you they are aware of that possibility and they're testing to make sure it's not game breaking, but the ability to use destruction as a strategic mechanic to create cover is very fun to think about. They even mentioned how in the video they released, the player destroys the wall to quickly traverse through the building and reach the other side. And without destroying the building, they would either have to run around the block or navigate up a staircase to get to the other side. And this just kind of shows like how much better the map design seems to be for this new game. There was absolutely no kind of tactical fleshed out lanes of combat for maps in 2042, at least to me. So this gives me like a lot of confidence in their new map designs when they mention stuff like this, because this is exactly how I as a player would be thinking of using destruction. So the next section is called feedback and validation, where they talk about how they are moving on from the movement and gunplay stage of testing for Battlefield Labs and are now going to be testing these new main focus points going forward. Number one, they want players to be able to understand which environments can or cannot be destroyed and what firepower is required for different material types. Number two, they're going to be testing the impact of collateral damage from debris and destructible environments, which I'm guessing means just like fine-tuning how much damage falling debris does to players, because it could also be a nightmare if you got an explosion happy freak on your team who's destroying everything inside. Hell, I could be that freak, right? But if debris does damage universally, meaning to friendly or foe, it could be super annoying if this guy, again, or even yourself, is causing damage to your own team using destruction. Like if the guy blows out a building that you're in and he kills you and he's on your team because the destruction killed you, like that could get really bad. Like they definitely have to balance that correctly because it could cause potential for griefing in the game. Number three, testing the tactical use of destruction to create new pathing or persistent environments. And then number four, balancing the ecosystem of damage through firepower and destruction. And then the final section is called Our Learnings So Far, and they break down what they learned and have already fixed from the previous Battlefield Labs playtest to date. One of the big issues they found, which if you've been around the franchise for a while, this is not going to surprise you at all, but I guess the server stability and performance was an issue. This seems to be an issue with every single Battlefield game ever to exist. But luckily, unlike previous titles, they are finding and correcting these mistakes now and not after launch, like with Battlefield 4, if you remember that netcode disaster. It looks like they have already improved it a lot, and the latest playtests have been a lot more smooth from a network perspective. So again, that's why we have Battlefield Labs, right? Like this is great news. I'm glad to hear that they are fixing this now instead of dropping the game with terrible server stability and netcode. They also learned that while gunplay feels good, they need to work on the balancing for the different weapon archetypes and the damage values. I know a lot of guys that claimed to play Battlefield Labs said that the LMGs were like laser beams, kind of like Battlefield 5, and that the submachine guns had too much range. So I can imagine it's hard to get weapon balancing right on the first go as a developer. So I'm glad they are being transparent and sharing that with us. They also talk about movement speed and how they are continuing to iterate to find the right balance in speed and functionality when it comes to crouch sprint, combat rolling, vaulting, etc. And if this feedback is coming from people who have played Battlefield Labs, then that's cool. I just hope they aren't overreacting to the movement freak out that's been going on within the Battlefield community. I understand all of us who aren't in labs are allowed to have an opinion, okay? But also, it's one thing to see gameplay and another thing to feel gameplay. So if the people playing the game feel like the movement system needs work, then fine-tuning that is totally okay with me, okay? I just hope they're not overreacting or overcorrecting based on like Reddit forums from people who have never played the game. And like I said earlier in the video, David Sirlin, the lead producer of the next game, did confirm that there is a new running animation in this footage. And I do have to admit, it does look a lot more like weighty, and it looks less like you're running around with a toy gun. So yeah, like we're seeing a lot of progress very quickly with each new build of Battlefield Labs, which is super exciting. Finally, they have seen feedback around the balancing of destructible objects across the map, and are working on fine-tuning the damage levels of all surfaces. So I'm guessing this balancing is probably going to continue with the future playtests as they kind of like shift their focus from gunplay to testing destruction and those mechanics. But yeah, again, that kind of wraps up the community update. I'm curious to hear what you guys think in the comments section below about all of this. It's really cool to finally have some official information from DICE and EA about this new game and not just like 180p leaks that you can barely even understand. So it's really cool to see like fresh, like high quality gameplay of the new game. But yeah, if you haven't already for some weird reason, definitely make sure to sign up for Battlefield Labs. It seems like they are still taking people in and you still have a chance. They also just sent out a new wave of invites for the next play session, which is happening on Friday, the 25th of April. So make sure to check those emails. Cross your fingers, man. I wish you luck. But that's going to wrap it up for today. Let me know what you guys think again of this new destruction gameplay. What are your thoughts on this community update as a whole? I do appreciate it if you made it to the end of the video. And if you enjoyed, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to keep up to date with Battlefield 6. I'm also working on a video talking about what I'd like to see in the new class system for the game. I ran a poll about a week ago and had some interesting responses to that. So look out for that video in the near future. And also thank you guys so much for interacting and supporting all of my content so far. Like I'm a small channel, you know, it's been really fun hanging out with you guys, and I look forward to continuing to improve my content and getting to know you guys more. But until the next video, my name is Sam. Hope you have a good one. Bye.